God, did she faint? Can someone bitte give her some Wasser? Frau Birkner practically screamed, shocked to find Shirin in an unconscious state. Shirin had slouched on her seat, her head on the keyboard of a laptop, strands of hair sticking on her face. Monica and Raj, who were both Shirin's colleagues at office, rushed to her side the very moment they heard Frau Birkner. Monica sprinkled some water on Shirin's face. She was sweating profusely. It was sweltering outside, and it was warm and humid inside as well. There was just a tiny plastic fan, powered by a USB stick, stuck to her Shirin's laptop. Frau Birkner was Monica and Raj, and Shirin's, of course, on-site team supervisor. She announced with concern that when she had come to Shirin's desk to discuss a client, she had found her in this state. Shirin's desk was in the corner, hidden behind a tall house plant. God only knows how long she had been lying unconscious like that there on her seat. Gianluca rushed in too when he heard the commotion. He stood there concerned, unsure if he should join the rescue team or not. After a moment's hesitation, he decided to retrace his steps back to his cabin. He positioned his chair at an angle so that he could keep a watch on them. He had landed Shirin in enough trouble already, and by hovering around her, he didn't want to raise any more eyebrows. What is she saying? Why is she saying Ammi? Frau Birkner asked Monica as Shirin lifted her face, asking for more water. Monica explained that Ammi meant mother in her language. Frau Birkner nodded her head, understanding without any further explanations. After a while, Shirin opened her eyes and slowly sat up straight. She brushed her hands across her wet face. Her cheeks still had the dents from the keyboard. She complained that the intense heat was killing her. After a while, Frau Birkner wished Shirin a quick recovery and left, wishing her happy holidays. Monica and Raj left too, as Shirin convinced them that she was doing fine and it was just the heat. Both of them slipped out to the terrace with a coffee in hand. Raj said calmly to Monica with a distinct frown, "Do you think Shirin is pregnant? Why did she faint now? You know what I mean, right?" Monica, who was slightly taken aback by the question, nodded her head in confusion. That seemed to anger Raj all the more. He crossed his arms across his chest and said, without even thinking twice, "Of course, Gianluca and all those men. Shirin should have never opted for an offshore assignment. Forget about going out with Gianluca to spend Easter weekend in the Netherlands. That short guy with that fancy stubble and whistle, I mean, what can he do apart from running in a couple of marathons and running data check programs? How could Shirin spend so much of time with that man? What if she is pregnant now?" Monica stepped back, a bit surprised with the vehemence she had just heard in Raj's voice. She felt confused. Why was her boyfriend so concerned about Shirin? Was this her boyfriend's pattern of thinking when it came to the topic of independent, intelligent, and beautiful women? Her voice trembled a bit when she replied, "Raj, since when have you been jealous of Gianluca? You're always smiling and joking with him at coffee breaks. Where did this come from?" That is because I want to know more about his intentions with Shirin," Raj reciprocated promptly. "What? You want to know about Gianluca's intention? What about your own intention with me? Are we ever going to get engaged? I mean, this year or ever after? Have you ever thought about that? Haven't I told you several times that I'm constantly receiving messages from my parents about potential candidates and grooms? Didn't I tell you that I have to decide by this year? Monica stood there with both her hands resting on her waist, glaring at Raj with pent-up fury swirling in her eyes. Fury that had been shoved beneath the carpet after their trip to Venice last month, where she was expecting him to propose to her, especially when they had gone on that romantic gondola ride. What had Raj done instead? He had clicked endless selfies and had FaceTimed his parents, showing them the sea, the boat, all the while carefully shielding Monica from the view, as if she didn't exist. Why hadn't she interpreted his cues correctly? She wondered sadly. Raj diverted the discussion back to Shireen and said with the same troubled tone, Shireen is going beyond her limits. And that, my friends, is a short excerpt from my story, Shireen Akhtar for She Celebrates. Have a wonderful Eid. Celebrate, enjoy, stay safe, stay well. Keep reading our book. Our book, She Celebrates, with 21 short stories based on 21 different festivals from India, is available in Kindle and will be available in Amazon soon. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.